If you decide to do this, you're going to bungee jump once in your life. Here's how to make the most of it while being absolutely safe. Hi, I'm Niharika Nigam, Director Business Development of Jumpin' Heights, the Bungy people. We brought in the bungee revolution to India way back in 2010 when not a lot of people even knew what this was. And the ones that didn't trust India with it for sure. This 2nd May, we completed 13 years since our inception and have managed to turn a few things around. We became the only bungee facility in the country to be certified by the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India for bungee operations in the country. We've operated a landmark 150,000 bungee jumps since our inception, a record for any bungee operator globally. The Uttarakhand government released a statement in 2018 declaring Rishikesh as the adventure capital of India and attributing that to bungee jumping and rafting. And we held a monopoly as the only bungee facility in India for over 10 years. Only in the last year and a half are a lot of bungee operators mushrooming in the country, and honestly that is a win for us. Despite the shade that some of the juniors try to throw our way, let's be clear, when the industry grows, so do each of us individually. And the fact that we have single-handedly created an appetite for one of the world's most extreme adventure sports and created enough credibility for newer entrants to think of it as a viable and even a lucrative field to be a part of means we've accomplished what we set out to do. Change the perception that Indians aren't capable of the world's absolute best when it comes to safety, organizational practices, and quality. A bias held by our own people about ourselves. I and all of us at Jumpin' Heights only hope that all of the newer entrants and everybody in the adventure industry maintains the high precedent that has been set by us, because this trust was not easy to build and we sure as hell cannot break momentum now. In this video, I want to bring you, the potential jumper, into the experience building process and empower you with everything you need to know. I'm making this video in 2 parts. This one is about what to expect from your experience, what to look for, and some things to avoid. And part 2 will be everything to do with safety. What are the practices that the best in the business follow, and how to know if you're in good hands. So stay tuned for that one. Let's get started. What does bungee jumping actually feel like? If you decide to do this, you should know that once you've done it, there is no going back to a life where you haven't faced the edge, where you haven't faced your fears, where you didn't know what that 3, 2, 1 jump moment feels like. It is a moment you will remember for as long as you live. A bungee jump is also the most elitist of all the adventures. You will never not be the person with the most exciting and interesting story on the table. But realistically, here is what happens. I've bungee jumped a total of 14 times so far, and every single time, this is the chain of reactions that my body goes through. I'm perfectly fine till I'm on the bridge getting harnessed. You know there's something coming, like you do before a roller coaster, but you don't really play an active part. Then all that changes when the jump master asks you to start walking towards the edge. My body goes deathly cold at that point, and the fight or flight response starts to kick in. I'd rather be anywhere but here. I forget to breathe. I suddenly don't care about the perfect shot, and you're very eerily, very completely, suddenly present to that moment. Nowhere but here. This is also called the flow state, by the way, but that's for another video for another time. The jump masters don't push you, so with the countdown, you have to actually choose to take that last step off the edge, and that is the entirety of what bungee jumping is. I would highly suggest to not close your eyes at this point. A lot of jumpers do choose to do that because you really don't want to miss this. And finally, you jump, and there is this inexplicable swooping sensation in your stomach that I really wasn't prepared for during my first jump. That was way back during our inception. I was the inaugural jumper. This was in 2010. I was 19, and like I said, I thought I'm going in for a roller coaster. I had no idea what to expect, and I was so shocked by that overwhelm that I did not even scream, I remember. But if you do, if you're more conscious, if you're older, if your experience is different, scream your guts out. Since then, I always do. Then there is the rebound. Imagine being harnessed by your ankles upside down in the middle of nowhere at a formidable height and swinging like a pendulum through the landscape. I don't think there's a word in place for that. My eyes get watery. This happens to me every time. I'm so pumped. And I'm so pumped with the electric energy of the adrenaline that my hands are always shaking. It's utterly crazy. You're high on this new acquaintance with your courage and you're going to love it. In those 150,000 jumps, every single bungee has had a story to tell. A story of fears and of the courage to overcome it. A story that I wrote into a novel called 3-2-1 Jump, where my protagonist, Nanki Mehta, seemingly has it all but sets out to find that elusive thing called happiness, which takes her on a journey of self-discovery to the mountains of Rishikesh, where she befriends River, a jump master who sells courage for a living. As she seeks answers to the world's oldest questions, the questions that Arjun asked Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 10,000 years ago. Questions of identity, of purpose, of duty, but of what they truly mean in current times. This book was, by the way, launched by Chetan Bhagat and by veteran journalist Kaveri Bamzai, and has been reviewed by the Times of India as an empowering book that empowers the youth about their strength and work. It is available in bookstores, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. Can you bungee jump? Now, different places have different protocols about this. Please be honest about declaring any conditions you may have about your age, about your weight. All the protocols in place are for your safety. At Jump in Heights, we take the highest precautions at the risk of being conservative. Our age limit is 12 to 45 years and our weight limit is 40 to 110 kgs. If you suffer from any of the following conditions, you will be prohibited to bungee jump. At Jump in Heights, we also do not allow specially abled people to jump. In case you have any doubt regarding your health, please speak to the expert and leave the judgment to them. Gimmicks. Okay, now this one is important. Let me tell you what gimmicky marketing practices look like in the bungee business. Heavy discounts for starters is not why you do this. Quality safety is not cheap, and be very worried if cost is very easily slashable. The average cost for bungee jumping in India is around 3,700 rupees without the video. This, by the way, is one of the most economically priced bungee jumps in the world, and when we did this, it was done to position this experience for Indians and not the traveling foreign tourists. A professional facility will also, by the way, not vary their pricing through the seasons, because that usually means that their jump masters have left for that season, and that's not a good sign. Another gimmick is alcohol. I really wanted to speak about this because I know of this happening in Goa, where free beers were offered as incentive after the jumps. Now this is blasphemous. Do not do this. There should not be any alcohol or any ingratiating substances, even on the premises of such high risk activities, not in access for the crew and definitely not for the jumpers. You need to be extremely aware, extremely sober, and in fact on your A game when you undertake any such adventure activities. And also, please don't even try to waste this experience on a blurred memory. You do not need liquid courage. You're there to find the real deal inside of you. What makes a bungee jump a once-in-a-lifetime experience? So let's start with the biggest of it all. Does the height of the bungee bridge really matter? It matters to you, which is why most companies in the world use this as a smart marketing tactic. But honestly, what matters is the landscape that you as a jumper are looking out at when you're standing at the edge. For example, I was at the Golden Eye Bungee, which is in Warzaska, Switzerland, and while it is one of the highest stationary bungee jumps in the world, that was not why it is one of the most extreme. The reason why that is a mind-bending activity is really because of the scene that it is set within. There are these black jagged rocks all around the bungee bridge that you actually dive into, and that is what makes it a mind-bending experience. And while I didn't even do it back then, it is on my list. And in India, Jump in Heights Rishikesh, for that very reason, is India's most extreme bungee, which is also why even on my 14th bungee jump, I still shudder to stand at the edge to this day. My last bungee video is actually up on my channel as a shorts. Do check it out. You'll see me do an embarrassing retake for a 14th time bungee jumper. Point number 2 is nature. This is something I've realized after very many bungee jumps, but now when I look back, every time that I revisit the memory of a particular jump, I realize that such a big aspect of that experience is actually that moment of your communion with nature. I really don't think we realize in our everyday lives how much we lose by this distance from existing amidst greenery, amidst forests, amidst lakes. It is the single most energizing aspect of any adventure ever. In fact, Jump and Heights took almost a decade to find our second bungee location, which is over Maim Lake in North Goa, primarily because we wanted the location to have that same intangible quality that Rishikesh does. I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you come upon it, it takes your breath away, that kind of quality. That an adventure like this enables you to lose yourself into. And by the way, this is about the jumper, not the shot that you get from the side, not a backdrop that you see from afar. It is about the view that the jumper sees and the jumper actually dives into. This is not about the backdrop for Instagram. It is about the experience that you're having when you're standing at the edge. Not concrete, not a puddle, not in the middle of a mall. You deserve the ocean and the forests and the whole wide world. You're going to bungee jump once in your life. Make sure your experience is set in a stellar scene. The rebound. Man, oh man, if I had to put a pin on it, the rebound, this is the whole damn game. And this is something that not a lot of people realize unless you have actually bungee jumped. The quality of the rebound depends to a large extent on the cord making skills of the bungee operator, but also to a small degree upon your weight. Cords are assigned by weight, and if you are on the lighter side of your cord category, then chances are that you will be whipped around a little more wildly during your rebound, and that makes you a very lucky person, a very lucky jumper. To know if your bungee operator does great rebounds, please have a look at their videos. That's the only way you can gauge. I will put up a video here for your reference of what a really good rebound looks like. For the last part, the most important part is your safety. Now this is a whole other video and I'm going to put it up as part 2. Be sure to check that out on my channel and stay tuned for all things adventure and a look at life upside down. Chutki, stop it. Chutki, stop. Go. 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 Please go. Chutki. Oh my god. Please go. Okay, bye. Go, Chutki. What? Go. Okay, bye. Bye. Okay.